percentage of an amount. In today's lesson, we will be looking at working out percentage of an amount without a calculator. Okay. So the most common one that you need to know first is to work out 10%. Okay, how to work out 10%. Now to work out 10%, you've got to divide by 10. But this doesn't mean that if you are working out 20%, you divide by 20. If you're working out 5% of a value, divide by 5. That's not the case. When you're working out 10%, you divide by 10 because 10% as a fraction is 10 over 100, isn't it? Yeah. Now, if I simplify this fraction, which I can do, because I can divide by 10. Yeah, I can cancel this fraction down. When I divide by 10, I end up with, well, 10 divided by 10 is 1, and 100 divided by 10 is 10th. So 10% is equivalent to 1/10. Now, 1/10 actually just means divide by 10, doesn't it? If you're working at 1/10 of something, you just divide by 10. That's why if you're working at 10% of something, you divide by 10. So let's have a look. Now we're working at 10% of these numbers. Okay, so number one, we are working at 10% of 30. If we're working at 10% of 30, we just divide by 3. Divide by 10, which is 3. Number two, if we're working at 10% of 50, we're just going to divide by 10 to get 5. Number three, I'm going to work at 10% of 220. So if I work at 10%, I just divide by 10, which is 22. Number four, if I'm going to work out 10% of 145, again, I just divide by 10, which is 14.5. I can work out 10% of, let's say, 1.4, because I can just divide that by 10 to get 0.14. And let's another one, 10% of 2,242, let's say. If I want to work out 10%, I just divide that by 10, 224.2. And there we are, we have worked out 10%. Okay, pretty simple and straightforward, isn't it? Right, to work out 20%. Now, you'll be thinking, actually, let's write this down as a fraction again, and then we can obviously divide by whatever the equivalent is. That's not the case, okay? You could do that. We'll prove it in a minute by doing that. But to work out 20%, you work out 10% first, and then you can just double it, times it by 2. Yeah, because 20% is double 10%, and that's the easiest way of working this out. Okay, so let's have a look at working some 20% out, and then I'll show you why that is the case. So let's say we're working out 20% of, let's say 50. Okay. Okay. 10% of 50, well, I just divide by 10, don't I? If I want to work at 10%, that's 5. And then if I want to work at 20%, I've just got to double that, which is 10. Simple and straightforward. Okay, what about 20% of 140? Okay, if I want to work at 10%, I divide by 10, 14. Then I just need to double that to work at 20%. Okay, which is 28. Simple and straightforward. Okay, number 3, what about 20% of 422 this time? So again, work at 10%, which is 42.2. Then you just double it, okay? So double 42.2 is 84.4, and that's pretty simple and straightforward to do. Okay. Let's have a look. 20% as a fraction is actually 20 over 100, isn't it? Because a percentage is out of 100. I can simplify this now because I can divide both top and bottom by 10. And I end up with 2/10. Okay. Now, look, to work out 1/10, I divide by 10. And then to work out 2/10, I times by 2. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Because to work out 10%, you divide by 10. And then you times by 2. Okay, and that's a little proof behind it to why when you're working at 20%, you can divide by 2 and then divide by 10 and then times by 2. Obviously, once you know you can work at 10%, you can work at anything. So let's have a look at working out some questions then. Lots of different ones we'll do. We'll do a variety of different questions to have a look at. So let's first of all, let's just do work out 30% of 50. Okay, 30% of 50. Well, let's work out 10% first. Remember, to work out 10%, you divide by 10. 50 is my number. 50 divided by 10 is 5. Now, straight away, I can work out 30%, because how do I get from 10 to 30? I times by 3. So I've got to times a 5 by 3 as well, which is 15, and your answer is 15. 30% of 50 is 15. Okay, let's have a look at 40% then. We'll just do easy numbers and we move on to decimals in a minute. 40% of 70. Again, work out 10%. Now, to work out 10%, I've got to divide by 10. My number is 70. So 70 divided by 10 is 7. Now I can work out 40%. Well, how do I get from 10 to 40? I've got to times by 4. I do exactly the same on the other side. So I end up with 7 times 4, which is 28. So 40% of 70 is actually 28. Okay. Let's have a look at another question. Let's do 60% now. Okay. And that should show you a different way of doing this as well. 60% of, don't need the equals, do we? Of 30. Okay, first things first, we can do method 1. We can work out 10% of 60, which is 3. Then I can move straight on to working out 60%, because how do I get from 10 to 60? I times by 6, and I can times a 3 by 6 as well, which is 18. Now, some people might not want to do this method, okay? Some people might want to work out 10% first, which is 3. Then people might want to say, well, actually, I want to work out, I don't know, maybe 20%. Okay, lots of different ways of working this out. I just double that, don't I? I get 6. Oh, and then have a look. I can work out 30% now because I can add these two together. 6 add 3 is 18. Oh, no, it's not, is it? It's 9. Just thinking then, how on earth do I get 18? Because I'm looking at the answer. And then I can work out 60% by doubling now, which is the answer 18. Okay, and there we are. Okay, so lots of different ways of working this out. You don't always have to go from straight from 10% to the actual number. You can work out other bits and add and subtract if that makes it easy for you. Let's have a look at another example like that. Let's do 40% of 600. Okay, we'll do the two methods so you can see. Method 1, I'm just going to work out 10%, which is, well, 600 is my number, so it's going to be 60. I can work out 40% because 10 times 4 is 40. So I can times that by 4, which is 240. Again, this would be in a non-calculator paper. But if you can't do that and you're going to say, well, actually, I'm going to struggle to do 60 times 4, you could work out 10%, which is easy, which is 60. You can then double it to work out 20%, which is 120. Then you can say, actually, I can double that again because I can double 120 to get 240. And doubling might be easy for you than, you know, timesing by 4 in one go. So there you are, two different ways of working that out. Right, let's have a look now at working out 5%. 5% of 40. First easiest thing to do is to work out 10%, which is 4. And then 5% is just half of 10%, which is 2. Okay. Let's have a look at 45% now. So bring it all together. 45% of 320, keeping the numbers quite simple and straightforward. Okay, so let's work out 10% first. 10% is 32. Okay. Okay. Now I've got to work out, we can do it in two different ways. I'm going to work out 40% because I'm going to times by 4. Okay, that's going to be 128. Then I'm going to find 5% because I'm going to half my 10%. Well, a half of 32 is 16. Now I can work out 45% because I can add these two together. Okay, I can do add 128, add 16, which is 144. Okay, now we could have done this in a different way because we could have worked out 10%, which is 32. And then you might have thought, well, actually, can't really times by 4. So you could have just doubled if you want to do it in steps. 20% is double that, so that's going to be 64. 40%, because I can double that, well, that's now going to be 128. And then obviously you can work out 5%, which is 16. And then again, you can add that up. So it's entirely up to you which method you want to go for. Okay, let's have a look at 55% now. Then we'll move on to some decimal questions. 55% of 430. So again, two different ways of doing this. You can do the traditional way where you start from 10% first, which is 43. And then you could go on to 50%, okay, by timesing by 5. Okay, if we do 43 times 5, we end up with 215. So again, you can use any method, the lattice method, the traditional multiplication method. Then I'm going to work out 5% by halving the 10%, half of 43. So half of 43, well, half of 40 is 20 and half of 3 is 1.5, so that's 21.5. Okay, and then I can work out 55% by adding these two together. So 55% is add 215, and I end up with 236.5. Okay, right. The other way some people might have spotted is actually to work out 50%, you just half the number that you have, because 50% is a half, isn't it, as a fraction. So what I could have straight away done is half that, which is 215. And then obviously it's working out 5%. So I would work out 10% to get 43. Then I would work out 5% to get 21.5. And then I can add this one and this one together. And there we are. Okay. So entirely up to you how to work it out, but here I to get 50%, I times the 10 by 5, but here I already worked out 50% by halving. So it's just finding these little tricks, or finding the method that's comfortable for you, or which one you want to do first and which order you want to do it in. Right, let's have a look now at working out 17.5% of 80. Okay, so first things first, I would work out 10%, which is 8. Then I would work out 7%. Okay, actually, let's have a look. Can I work out 7% from 10%? No, because there's no number that can times 10 by to get 7%. So let's get rid of that. What I will do is I would work out then 1%. Well, how do I get from 10 to 1? I can divide by 10. So I can divide this by 10 and I end up with 0.8. Now I can work out 7% because I can do 1 times 7. So I should do 0.8 times 7. So again, I'd recommend you using the lattice multiplication. There's a video on this on the website if you want to have a look. Okay, like that. So 8 times 7 we need to do is 56, 5, 6. 0 times 7. Oops, didn't need that one, is 0. Add the diagonals, that's 6, that's 5, that's 0. Just drop the decimal point down, 5.6. Okay. Right. Then we need to work out 0.5% because it's 17.5. That is pretty simple and straightforward because I could just half 1% to get 0.4. Now we need 17.5%. So I need to do 10%, add 7%, add 0.5%. So I need to do 8, add 5.6, add 0.4. I'm just going to put a 0.0 there. So that is 10, carry the 1 over, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And there we are. 17.5% of 80 is 14. Okay. Let's do another question like that. Let's do another 17.5% one. Then we'll move on to working out another one of 60. Okay, so let's work out 10% first, which is 6. Then you would work out 1%. So obviously you divide by 10. So you divide that by 10 to get 0.6. Then you have to work out 7%. Well, I can times that by 7. So I've got to do 0.6 times 7. Okay. 6 times 7, 42. 0 times 7, 0. Add the diagonals. 2, 4, 0. Drop the diagonal, the decimal point down, sorry. 4.2. Oh, and we need 0.5%. So half that, which is 0.3. So add that, and that together. So I do 6.0, add 4.2, add 0.3. That's 5. And that's 6 at 4, 10.5. Okay. Right, let's have a look at working out some other questions then. Let's do one more decimal point. 12.5% of 320. Okay. Work out 10%, which is 32. I would then work out 1%, okay, by dividing by 10. 3.2. I can work out 2% then by doubling that, 6.4. And then I can work out 0.5% by halving the 1%. So 3.2 divided by 2 is 1.6. And then I need 12.5%, so I need 10%. I need the 2%. I need the 1.6%. You could have just added another 1% instead if you didn't want to do 2%. So I've got 32.0, add 6.4, add 1.6. That's 10. Carry the 1 over. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 again. Carry the 1 over. 4. So the answer is 40. Right, let's have a look at what if we had 28% of 50. Okay. Well, I need to work out 10% here, which is 5. You would then work out 20% by doubling, which is 10. Then here's where you need the 1%, okay, because we need to work out 8%. So to work out 1%, I'm going to do 10% divided by 10, which is 0.5. Then, right, there's two ways here. You can either work out 2% and take it away from the 10% or work out 8%. So let's do both. If I work out 2% here, that's easy because I can double 0.5 to get 1. Then all I do is 10% take away 2%. Yeah, that gives me 8%, doesn't it? Yeah, so the 10% is 5, take 1, yeah, which is 6. So 8% is actually 6. And then I just need to do 20%, add 8%, which is 16. Or if I didn't want to do that, from the 1%, I would have to work out 8% by timesing by 8. So 0.5 times 8 is 4. And that gives me, yep, that's wrong. I did add 1, haven't I? I'm just thinking, why on earth is that answer incorrect? See, sometimes it's really good to double check. 4, so the answer is 14, not 16. Right, we're looking, thinking, what on earth is she doing? So there you are, 8% would be 4, and obviously add it together to get 14. Okay. Let's have a look at another question then like this. Let's have a look at working out. Let's have a look. Let's do 34% of 16. Okay, first way, 10% straight away, which is 1.6. I will then work out 30% by timesing by 3. So again, do an easy way of 1.6 times 3 like this. Okay, 6 times 3, 18. 1 times 3, 3. That is 8. 3 and 1 is 4. 0. Bring that down, 4.8. Now I want to work out 4%. I can work out 1% first by dividing that by 10, which is 0.16. Right, to work out 4%, I can times that by 4. I can double first because double's pretty easy, isn't it? So 0.16 times 2, would give me 0.32, wouldn't it? And if I want 4%, I can double that again, which is easier this way to do 0.64. And then I want 34%, so 30% and 4% add together. Let me do this carefully so I don't make a mistake again. 4.8, add 0.64, add a 0 on top of that. That's 4. And then I've got to do 8 add 6, which is 14. Carry the 1 over, that's 5, so the answer is 5.44. Okay, let's do one question left then. 14% of 4. I'd work out 10%, which is 0.4. Then I would work out 1%, which is 0.04. Now again, you can either just times that by 4, or you can double 0.08 to work out 2%. Okay, and then obviously, if you want to double that again, you end up with 0.16. Then all you do is you add your 10% and your 4% together. So I'm going to have 0.4 add 0.16. That's 650, and the answer is 0.56. Okay, and that was today's lesson of how to work out percentage of amounts without a calculator. I hope it was useful. Thank you for watching.